Is anybody there? Have we had any? Yeah, are we on? Good stuff. Give it a couple of seconds. Hopefully people will join. People joined yesterday. Hopefully they're going to join again today. We've got one. Hello, you, whoever you are. Two. I'm just going to give it a few seconds, guys, to get going. Just want to say thank you for joining me this afternoon. Just two people. We had quite a few join us yesterday from all over the world, which were great. So just going to give it a bit of time. I know football's on, obviously later on, and people will have plans. They might be busy and at work. Got two people up to now. We need a few more before I start. 3. Hi to the people who are joining us. 4. Come on. 5. If you can, share this page. It would really help carry our message of what we're trying to do. Like it and share it. We're not begging. It's just that to do what we want to do with a charity, we need to get some consecutive days of hours, live hours, and we need your guys' support. So if you can share it, please, that'll help us as a charity to do what we're trying to do. So right, I'm going to start anyway. We've got 6 people, that's enough, yeah? So my name's Mick, work at Kickback Recovery. I did a bit of I shared a bit of our story and the charity story yesterday, so I want to continue with that and hopefully do a bit of a live feed for the next few days and building up to what Kickback Recovery is, the charity, and what we're about to do. Then after that, we'll be doing three days a week, recovery education in hour slots, you know, carrying that message of recovery and the teachings that I've learned over the years, and want to share that freely with the people out there, people who are maybe still in pre-contemplation, which means they think they haven't got a problem, or to them they haven't got a problem. They're not ready to change whatever they're doing or their lives, and you know, maybe we could plant a seed, you know, just showing those people that there is a different way of life, and also for the people out there who are working their recovery programs, and for them to get involved. We're not teaching them how to suck eggs, but it's just something for them to get involved with and help maintain their recovery. So yeah, so I'm just going to start. So yeah, so just briefly about me again. It's not all about me. It used to be all about me. You know, when we're in active addiction, everything. You know what I mean? I was just like, just self-centered, self-absorbed. That was the core of my illness, just the self-centeredness. Today it's different. That's why I'm doing this work. So I started experimenting with drugs at the age of 12. From then on, I just progressed, trying different drugs, and got myself in trouble at 16, ended up in prison, and that went on for a few years, of 4 prison sentences all in all, and using drugs, and which I thought were recreational, but over time that changed. People have said to me, what do you think the gateway drug was? Was it cannabis or? But for me, I think the gateway drug to other stuff was alcohol. You know, alcohol changed the way I feel. You know, I weren't in control, and I just tried other drugs that were offered to me, and things progressed from them. So right, so where I am now, I work at a charity. I've set a charity up. I founded a charity. You know, after years of pain and thinking, running on self-will and doing it my way, I eventually became exhausted, totally worn out and burnt out. I become really tired of running on self-will, and I had to let that go because it was killing me. You know, when people have said over the years that, you know, one day you'll wake up an old man, and you, when you're young, you're in your 20s or whatever, your 30s, you're like, whatever, you know what I mean? You don't think you're going to get old. And then one day I did wake up, you know, every time I used drugs, I looked a mess. You know, I remember sometimes when I was in the middle of all my madness, you know, the first line of cocaine, I'd look in the mirror and I'd look like I'd just been dug up. You know, that's where it took me to, lots of isolation. self-harming, and people think about self-harming. Self-harming is when you're cutting yourself, when you're taking overdoses and stuff. But if you're shoving lots of Class A substances up your nose, you are self-harming. You know what I mean? What a normal person with a level head on their head, a good head on their head, wouldn't shove ounces of cocaine up their nose and lock themselves, isolate in a bedroom for weeks on end and go weeks without sleep. That's not a sane person, is it? That's where my illness took me to. Like I said yesterday, very unwell, spiritually unwell, spiritually bankrupt, a very poorly person. And that put me in a rehab, the Priory Rehab in just outside Manchester. I left after a week. I thought, well, I'm all right now. I want to go out there and I want to use drugs again. And I want to do it my way, and I can do, and I did. I left that rehab. And I got back on it, things got worse and worse. And when you think things can't get any worse, they can get a lot worse. As you guys know, lots of people know that. We think we've hit the rock bottom and that's it. But if you keep on going, you hit another rock bottom. There's a saying that rock bottom has a basement, has a cellar. And that's why I experienced over and over again. My way of thinking always got me in trouble. My best way of thinking always got me in trouble. But I'd never let go of it. I wouldn't let go of it. I kept thinking the insanity of it, thinking I can do it differently this time. And can I get a different outcome? I'll not buy as much. I'll do it differently. I'll make sure I'll go to bed after a couple of nights. I'll make sure I'll get my head down. I'll make sure, I'll get back to work and stuff. It never ended that way. It always ended in, for me and for a lot of other people out there, pain, misery, tears, blood. Like I said, we talked about self-harming, that type of thing. You're not looking after myself. So what we're trying to do, and I'm not talking me, I'm talking we, what we're trying to do is create this Facebook page. We've got 22,500 and odd followers worldwide. And some of those followers, worldwide joined us yesterday, and it was quite touching to look back at. We get a little graph on Facebook and it shows you where we touched in the world, and we touched a lot of people, and it was great. So if there is anybody out of the UK, we're sending lots of love from England, Kickback Recovery, and we're going to ask you to share this page, if you could, to help us carry this message that we're carrying, and help us get what we're wanting out of Facebook, because what we're wanting is for Facebook to recognise us as an organisation, which we are. We're a legal organisation. We're a registered charity in Sheffield, England. And if we could do so many consecutive days and so many hours, we'll get noticed, and they will give us this toolbar that we were wanting to share our recovery education for some of our by doing live feeds, some of our recovery stories. The people who do want to jump on as well, they can share some of their hope. But one of the main priorities that we're doing is looking after our own service members. So when people do come to these meetings, that they're aware that, we will do an hour live feed. You don't have to be on the live feed. There'll be a little area which the camera won't touch. Most of the camera will be on me and the topic we're teaching. But for the people who do want to get involved, we've discussed this with them. They're happy with the camera going on them while they share their feedback, what's happening where they are, and stuff like that. And by doing all this, we can broaden our horizon of the people we're helping, because we're helping people in Sheffield, which is a city in England, and the surrounding areas. We work in colleges, schools. We're working with community foundations, Sheffield Wednesday being a new one. We're working with, organisations in the Sheffield city centre. We're doing daily clinics, one-to-one clinics in person. We're doing one-to-one Zoom clinics daily. We're doing group therapy Zoom meetings regularly. And we're doing in-person group therapy sessions, and we're doing recovery teaching and education. So I've just told you a little bit. I want to every now and then when I come on and go back to my old life, and then talking about the new life as well. So I had many years, over 35 years in active addiction, using drink and drugs to chase away. I felt, whatever life threw at me, and I didn't like the feel of that. I always used something to change that, what I was feeling. And in that, I never really grew. We grow out of pain, we grow out of loss, grief. If a relationship breaks down, it's hard, it's painful. But through that, we will grow, we will get through it. Naturally we get through it by sitting with feelings, working through the feelings, But if you're always putting a substance in you to numb these feelings, and that's what I did from the age of 12, however I felt, you know, I'm upset with this, I'm upset with that, you know, I'm going to change it, I'm going to sniff glue, which people did back in the day, you know, whether it be gas, an aerosol, whether it'll be drinking, whether it be smoking, whatever it'll be, I kind of did, and I never grew from that. So to cut a long story short, I ended up in a rehab at 45-year-old, my second rehab, Ark House rehab in Scarborough, 12-step rehab that did save my life, you know. And I worked a 12-step program, and that saved me. But when I was sat down with a counsellor, with doing my step 4, my step 5 stuff, really, you know, dug deep, got honest, you know, really worked on it. You know, I self-funded. You know, I would have liked to stay in there for 6 months, but I didn't have the money to do that. Self-funded, and I stayed in as long as I could for what I could afford. It was my last bit of money that I'd earned through being a Jack the Lad or whatever. We're going to go on drugs anyway, so I just thought, you know, I need to put this money and invest it in myself, because I can't go out there robbing at my age. I can't go out there doing this and that. I don't want to be that person. It's scaring me being that person. You know, I don't want to be that person in a prison at 50-year-old, and I can't. I can't. So I'm gonna have to invest the last bit of money I've got, the cash, into a rehab and work on myself and surrender. You know, and that's what it's all about, surrendering. I don't know how many times I've surrendered, but I've never, till lately, surrendered fully. So this guy, a 45-year-old man, we're in a 12-step rehab in Scarborough. I'm getting honest. I'm working with a program, you know, and I'm getting used to sitting with my feelings. But I was still a 12-year-old boy. You know, what I mean? I still had resentments going on that happened to me when I was 12. And we'll go into that another time. But, you know, from an adult, you know, this anger, this resentments, at some point some hatred towards an adult that I thought didn't handle me right, should have been better with me. You know, I was still using drugs at 45. So to be honest, I relapsed when I came out of rehab. So I was still using it at 47. You know, on the same anger that from being a teenager, because I hadn't worked my program properly, and I hadn't surrendered fully. On what I did by going to the 12-step meetings and working with a sponsor, and, you know, I looked at things differently. I looked at my part in stuff. Even when I was 12, I had a part to play, you know, and their part in things. And I got some answers that, you know, I did have a part to play in it. The reason why we're behaving how we're behaving is how that's what reacted somebody else to behave, and maybe they weren't educated enough to do it differently, and they did the best, and maybe they weren't that well themselves. Maybe you know, there were just other things going on from them, and they did the best. And then it's all about forgiveness, acceptance and forgiveness. And then I accepted what it was. I accepted my part in it, and I forgave. And by doing that, I've got a lot of freedom. I've got a lot of peace. And today I don't use drugs. I don't want to use drugs. Whatever's going on for me, whatever life throws at me today, I can talk about it. I can share it with my sponsor, with my recovery buddy, with a loved one, and I can work through it. And that's what I do today. So I've got a life today when I'm coming up to 6 years totally drug-free, which is a right achievement in itself. So after, just flipping back, after coming out of the rehab and getting a bit of Amsterdam, I did set up a community group called Kickback Recovery. And I did that with the help of a few people. It started off at a boxing gym. It then progressed into a charity called the Archer Project in the Sheffield City Centre. They give us Monday to Friday. We set up groups. We did one-to-one stuff. From then on, we worked with the Salvation Army. We worked with Sheffield United Community Foundation. The Sheffield College, we got an opportunity at the Sheffield College to go in there and raise awareness around addiction, around mental health, and how it affects families, how it rips families apart. As we all know, addiction is a family illness, a disease that rips families apart. And that's what we do at Kickback. We support people with addiction problems, alcohol problems, dual diagnosis with mental health combined with addiction and alcoholism. And also we support their affected family members. So what this is all about is, I'm waffling on. Yeah, I appreciate your patience and listening to me and staying tuned in. If you can share it, just to get that message out. We want to different countries, so Facebook can see that we are legit, that we're not Mickey Mouse, that we're doing the right thing, it's coming from a good place, and hopefully they're going to give us this toolbar, the tools we need to carry this message of recovery. We do have a private page as well besides this. We've got a Kickback Recovery members group, which, as my colleague Sally has just shared that onto the feed. So if you want to join that, you need some extra support. No matter where you are, Oak World, there's just over 3,200 members there. Join us. You know what I mean? Just ask a few, answer the questions and just get involved. So right, so what? Yeah, just that's what we're aiming to do. So we're going to do a little jump on tomorrow again. We've got a meeting tomorrow at the Sheffield Recovery Forum, which is we get every Wednesday, the last Wednesday of the month, we get involved with Sheffield Drug Services. We've come together with other professionals and service users throughout the city. We share what's going on, and we work together in creating a better services for the Sheffield Drug Services. So I'm going to jump on tomorrow again for about half an hour, about 1:30, just to share what's going on, and just to remind you guys, this is just to add those hours up, and I'm really grateful for people listening, and really, really grateful, yeah. Is there anything else you think to add?
I've joined the event.
Right, and we've got an event Thursday. So our Thursday event where we're doing some recovery teaching is this Thursday, and it's 5:30 UK time, so that's 5:30 in the United Kingdom. We're going to do a live 1 hour recovery teaching around, I think it's around goodwill and gratitude. Doing the certain things that keep us well and give us a better lifestyle and drug free. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for listening. Please stay tuned in future. Thank you for your patience, and have a lovely day. And God bless you all. Thank you. Cheers.